I just click start broadcast, so um,
So
is
we're in
recording
business.
is recording right now.
Fantastic. All right,
Okay.
so you want to lead off
Well, me?
first, Phil?
Um, you want to get straight into to my United stuff or later on?
Well, um, we could start by perhaps just looking at the situation with the club right now. Um, we can just give our thoughts on it, see how that goes. Then we can start looking at the next match, transfer talk. Did you write like a schedule or like how we're gonna do it?
Yeah, I just had jotted down some points. Basically, we would talk about the match that just played. Everybody give their thoughts on individual players and then on the team.
Okay,
Um, then the next topic would be about the transfer situation, I guess. And
sounds good.
then the last topic would be on the upcoming match, and everybody could give their input on who they want to start, um, what formation and players Van Gaal should field, and yeah, that was just the three topics I came up with so far. If you guys have any other comments or any topics to discuss, um, let me know.
Okay, well, that sounds good. You're very quiet, Nick. All as well.
Yeah, yeah. I just following along for right now.
Okay, no problem.
Well, you know we want more talking from you, so you gotta get into it.
Yeah, I ready to talk anytime. I got a good few comments in my head, so
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, since this is the first one, the inaugural one, I just hope that we can build on this and keep it a regular thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah, definitely.
look to publish it on YouTube and then attach like links to the group and links to the Twitter and just get the followership up that kind of way. And definitely we'll be able to like get more interaction from our members because we got like near 800 members now, and we hardly hearing from most of them. So
yeah,
what we could probably do once we get accustomed is have a guest have a guest. Every few weeks or so we'll have a different guest to make the complement like four of us, and then
Yeah.
we can all take turns to get our views across, and then take it from there.
So what basically happens is that when I click stop broadcast, I think it will be uploaded to YouTube, and then I could download the video, and then I can send it to Drake's, and Drake's could edit it.
Okay. Now, how
yeah,
does it work? How does it work in terms of Because what I've noticed when I watch the ones online is that you see the main talker on the main screen, and then when it switches to someone else, it will switch to their box on the main screen. Is that what you control, or how
No,
does that work?
so basically, whoever is talking, their screen would be the big screen, and whoever is listening would be in the bottom right hand corner. So as you see, I'm talking now, right? Nick and you, Darius, are in the right hand corner. So yeah.
right. Yeah, I noticed that.
But when I'm speaking, I don't see you coming like onto my big screen. All I'm seeing is myself on the big screen. Is there like an option I need to hit or anything I need to do to change that?
Yeah, I
Um,
was wondering the same thing because when I start talking, I don't move up either. But then again, I on my phone, so
all right. The thing is, when both of you guys talk, your screen then populates my big screen. So when Darius talks, Darius becomes the big screen, and then me and Nick go in the right hand corner. And
oh, okay, I get it, I get it.
when Nick just talked, Nick became the big screen, and then me and Darius was in the right hand corner. So yeah.
Right, so Darius, when you talking, you're not going to see yourself move up to the big screen.
Okay. The only way I can see you guys on the big screen right now is if I click the little boxes in the corner.
Yeah.
Um, how do I get it away from that? Or does it is just that the way it is in terms of like when we're doing it and then when it's recorded it's a little different. How does Is it different on
Um,
yours?
I can do some more research on it like tonight and tomorrow night, and I can get back to you on that. But all I'm saying is that one thing I got to do is switch my, because the lighting in my video is black and white, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So I gotta fix that up. One and two. Like I said, I would do the research on other features the video offers. So I'll get back to you guys maybe later on.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Um, just to start things off though, because we want to touch a few topics to do with United. Um, I guess it will give Jason also the opportunity to do his editing
Yeah.
and to get au fait with how we're gonna edit it up and make it look decent. So I guess we can start off the discussion on the performance of the team so far. What are you guys thoughts in terms of where we were last season and with all the changes that Van Gaal has made? Do you guys reckon that we're in a prime position to perhaps go after the title, or do you think there's still a lot of work to be done?
Um.
You wanna go first, Nick?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
With regards to a serious title challenge, I think no, as compared to last season, we have the personnel to start doing that. There's about a week or two left in the transfer window. I would like to see at least two signings in that window. I know we would have lost out on Pedro, we would have lost out on Otamendi. But the signings we did get, Memphis Depay is looking really good. His partnership with Rooney is, at this current stage, really interesting to see.
Mm,
In the last match against Club Brugge, the two of them started to click together. Um, it was a really good thing to see. It was a really good thing to see, as opposed to last season. There was a constant tinkering with the team. Van Gaal didn't seem to know which formation would work best. We were playing three at the back, then we were playing four at the back. Um, the personnel he had, I guess he would have bargained a lot on Di Maria to perform a lot better than he did. What we
yep.
actually found coming out was that Di Maria seemed to be a catalyst for Ashley Young to actually start performing way better than he was in previous seasons. I think that was a coming out season for Ashley Young and Marwan Fellaini. I think two of those players would be my standout players from the last season. Anybody would tell you I am a big Fellaini fan, and it was good to see Van Gaal put his trust in Fellaini and play him in a more advanced role where he could interact with the front two, and he got 7 goals for it out of the season. He brought him on as a sub in the match against Club Brugge, and he got the last goal. In terms of personnel, it's good to see that Chicharito is back home.
Definitely.
I
Definitely.
think the team can only benefit from him being back in the squad. I would like to see some of the youth move up as well. Andres Pereira, a good player. Saw him a little bit in preseason. He looks fluid. He looks capable on the ball. I would like to see a little bit more of Paddy McNair playing at right back. Van Gaal gave him a run a couple of times in the position, and he seemed to do pretty good. That's not to say Darmian isn't doing a pretty good job in the position, but I think for attacking purposes, Paddy McNair offers a little more to us in that regard.
Mm, that's a debating point there. I think part of the problem that Van Gaal faced last season, just touching on that point about Paddy McNair, uh, going forward, he didn't offer enough. And if you remember, there was a game where Van Gaal gave him expressive orders to support the winger and to support Mata, and he actually got subbed at halftime. And it wasn't because defensively he was getting skinned; it was because every time Mata went forward, he would just shrink back all the time and would never overlap and wasn't offering himself as a pass. I find that Darmian does do that, and he makes constant runs, but he knows when it's time to defend, he's got to defend. So
Mm.
I don't think I can agree with that point because I do think that Darmian is a bit better. He's not as gung ho perhaps as Raphael. Raphael used to go forward constantly and perhaps leave his position open far too much and leave us way open. But I think Darmian does it with a bit more thought and doesn't just act on impulse. So I think that's an upgrade, personally speaking on that point. But going back to the other points you made, they're all great points. I thought that last season Van Gaal spent most of his time trying to find his best team. He came into a new league, a new club, a lot of ins and outs, and he was probably thinking, well, okay, I'm going to find the best solution to get where I want to be by the end of the season. But as he keeps talking about the process and the philosophy all the time, these things don't happen in one season. So everybody was like, why are you changing the formation? Why are you doing this? And it was a bit of a pig-headedness for me because he was so determined to make the three at the back work that at points it was to our detriment, and he was trying to force a style onto the team that they just weren't comfortable with. But he's a pragmatic man, and I find that he's willing to change when he realizes he's doing something wrong, which is totally different to Moyes. I found Moyes, you do something wrong, and he'll just be like, nope, this has got to go, this has got to work, this has got to work. For example, sticking Marouane in central defensive midfield, and so on. We knew that wasn't going to work because he just doesn't have the self-control, the temperament, the ball control needed of a player of that caliber, and he has no passing, right? So again, the youngsters, you look to the youth. You sold, 17 players,
Yeah.
and we've promoted a ton of youngsters as well, at least 5 into the first team squad, which is something I was calling out for a long time, even under Sir Alex, because I found what was happening is that the squad was so full of, I don't want to disrespect some of the players, but mediocrity. And it's okay having a big squad, but when the quality of that squad isn't that high, then you find yourself not getting the performances from some, then you're replacing some just so they can get games. And it was just not working out for me. That's why our cup runs, if you notice, even under Sir Alex for the last couple of years, the cup runs were really short. And that's because we were chopping and changing players far too much and trying to shoe in players that perhaps were coming back from injury and so on and expecting them to perform. So I like Van Gaal in the sense that he knows what he wants. He doesn't mess around. He's cut so many players. He's brought in at least 10 so far in his reign. And I think there's always an upwards from here. I still think, as you said, we're a couple of players short. The quality at the back is good, but not world class. And if we're looking to win the Champions League and get into the last 4 of the Champions League and win the league, I think we need a leader at the back. And Smalling is kind of developing into that. Maybe he could be the answer. We got to wait and see. But I still think that one signing at the back, one striker, just in case Rooney gets injured, and somebody that can put some fire behind him, because right now he could do anything and stay in the team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on the Rooney situation? Because that's something that's been talked about so much in the media recently, and a lot of people have been debating whether he still got it or not. What's your
I can
thoughts on
talk.
that?
I can talk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah.
Oh, so we're talking about the rumors or just how Van Gaal has
Rooney,
changed
Rooney, Rooney.
about Rooney
Well, you could touch
situation?
on Rooney. The question is about Rooney. Your thoughts on Rooney first, and then you can go on to talk about the change from last season to this season, and if you think we're prepared. But you could start by answering the one about Rooney, though.
I would say Rooney needs the help because he can't do it by himself. If you look at probably the 2010 to 11 season, yeah, I think that's the season, yeah, where he scored what 30 plus goals by himself. Um, for him to repeat that is going to take some help. Um, in terms of the rumors that we're linked with, you guys already know how I stand with rumors. If the player is not sitting down next to Ryan Giggs or Louis Van Gaal or even Nicholas's guy Ed Woodward holding that piece of red material, I'm not gonna believe it. Okay, so I don't really if we're linked to a player in the media, okay, cool, that's good to hear. You just follow it for the next couple of weeks and see if anything progresses. In terms of what we need per se, um, I think Van Gaal has a lot of faith in our back line. If he does get a defender, um, I won't be surprised, but yeah, I will still be surprised in that he still has faith in it, but then he probably needs somebody to guide the back line because even though Smalling and Blind, my bad, sorry, are doing a job, they still need some leadership, and that used to be under Ferdinand and Vidic when they were at United. Um, what else? I'd say the back line this season so far. You can't really tell what's going to happen in the future, but I guess it's too early to call like if we're going to really challenge for the title. Yeah, we have 6 points, but there's still some cracks that need to be covered. Um, a lot of credit I would say so far I would give to Romero, Smalling, and Darmian. I'm glad to see Luke Shaw is finally staying off the injury table, and hopefully he can stay fit for at least 7/8 of the season. No player is going to stay fully fit for a whole season, so I'm saying 7/8. So in terms of the so in terms of the Rooney situation, like I said, he needs some help. A lot of players are going to look for him to score goals, but he can provide distraction per se, and guys like Depay can get into scoring goals. Januzaj maybe. Mm,
Well, one of the big talking points at the moment is if we do get another player in, what will be the front line? Because I still think that despite Mata doing a decent job on the right flank, I don't think he's the long-term solution for Van Gaal in his mind. I think that he wants pace on either side, and I think the fall guy in this situation will be Mata. I mean, he's quality, but he's slow, and he doesn't quite fit for me. Even though he's technically brilliant, he doesn't quite fit the way that Van Gaal wants his teams to play. Generally, he plays a 4-3-3. I know in the World Cup that he did go to a 3-5-2, but generally he does go with 4-3-3 with pace either side of each of the striker. And Mata for me, it doesn't seem he's favoured in the field at all because we hardly ever see Mata in the field. Um, and he's been shunted on the right because it works for the time being. But the moment a quality player comes in, and this is my concern for Mata, because if we do get a Bale, a Muller, or somebody of that class who is, world class, that's going to be the end of him for me. It's sad to say, and he's a great person, great persona, has a great assessment of our club and knows how the club goes and works. But I think he's going to be the fall guy, and he's going to be caught in a situation like Herrera, because Herrera is quality as well. But again, if if you're not exactly what Van Gaal wants in his team, he's not going to play you or he's not going to build the team around you. And that's the problem they are both facing. Fellaini as well, Ashley Young. You saw what he said about Young in the media, where he kind of criticized him, but was being bluntly honest, where he said Young is no
He's not.
Neymar. And he's no Pedro as well, that infamous part as well. We know how he feels about Young. I thought it was a bit disrespectful. Personally, I'm not a fan of his man management. I kind of gave him, a pass before because I figured, well, we needed serious changes and serious surgery. But now the surgery is being done. I still don't like the way he talks to the players. I don't like the way he talks about the players. His treatment of players now is going up in the numbers, like 3, 4, 5 players disrespected for me. Adnan, Young. Um,
Do you
you
think?
know,
Do you think maybe that could have swayed Pedro's decision to sign for Chelsea instead?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because if you notice, what happened was there was a long delay, and everybody was wondering, well, the Super Cup's finished, and why is nothing happening? And the first report that came out was that Pedro was reconsidering, and it was
Yeah,
because he had talked to Valdez and he had spoken to,
I think
I think it was Marine.
he spoke to Valdez and somebody else. I can't remember.
It was somebody else, yeah, and they
And
basically
Fabregas,
said,
yeah. He spoke to
yeah,
Fabregas, yeah.
Fabregas, that's right, and they basically just said, look how they look how we treated Valdez. That's going to happen to you if you don't, do exactly as he asks. And a lot of creative players aren't interested in that kind of treatment, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I honestly thought he was coming, but clearly the likes of London and the Rent Boys seem to appeal more to him. But are we missing a lot? I mean, is he world class? I know he plays in a world class team, and I know he's gets the philosophy that perhaps Valhalla wants in terms of pressing. But is he world class? Will he stay in the team if we sign perhaps a Bale? No, he wouldn't. So I don't think he's a critical miss personally. What are
Yeah,
your thoughts?
I was telling people, stop fussing and moaning about us not signing Pedro. Pedro was to me not really a necessity for the team. We're looking to strengthen the back line and maybe, yeah, we're looking to strengthen the forward line, but Pedro is not going to give you a Champions League with Rooney. He's not going to give you the PL. He'll probably give us Carling Cup and getting the FA Cup, but that's not what Man United is about. Leave that to like the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool. Um, Basically, if we could acquire the services of, let's say, as Darius
and
mentioned, Bale or Lewandowski. I'm sorry.
Zlatan, maybe. Think we can sign Zlatan?
Uh, Zlatan. Zlatan can
Yeah,
do a job,
PSG
but
basically give him a green light to say if you want to leave the club, you can do it.
yeah, but we have so many egos in the team now. We have Rooney has an ego. Um, all of a sudden De Gea has an ego now, and you can imagine if Zlatan comes. Zlatan is a guy who doesn't want to show up to 20% of the training sessions and does what he wants. And Van Gaal at the current moment doesn't need that because, as Darius said, Van Gaal is being a little bit disrespectful to our players, and imagine him being disrespectful to Zlatan because really Zlatan doesn't care, and people
That's not
think
going to go down well.
exactly
Seriously.
he's probably going to tell Van Gaal to dare to Zlatan or something like that. So
Well,
I would I would sign Zlatan if it was in P4 FM where you don't have to care about ego. But the best options for us now are maybe Bale, like I said, Lewandowski. Um,
I think we
maybe
would have explored those options earlier in the transfer window. I don't think Bill is going to move. I think Bill still thinks he has a point to prove at Real Madrid. So I don't see that move happening.
it's possible.
Lewandowski, I'm still on the fence about that one. It could happen. Maybe if we made a sizable enough bid, it could. What I would like to see is us stop making bids for players who we really know aren't going to leave clubs, like Thomas Muller. He's
Well,
not he's not going to leave.
yeah, we said the same thing about Schweinsteiger as well, and right now he's wearing number 31 for us. And
Well, I
Schweinsteiger is a
think
die-hard Bayern
Schweinsteiger.
fan.
I think Schweinsteiger came to a point in his career where he actually wanted a change for something new. He's done it all with Bayern. He's done it all at country level with Germany. Why not come to England and try something? Muller is still young. He now has chances to win Premier League possibly and go places with Bayern Munich. He now has his footballing career to pursue. And you never know. Schweinsteiger not being at the club may allow him to emerge even further and do better things. So I don't think he's going to leave Bayern Munich at this point in time.
Well, actually, I wanted to touch on another point that I thought was pretty interesting. And it's something that the club has done over the last, I would say, 2 seasons. And a lot of people attribute the way that we're linked to these world-class players, especially ones that we know we're not going to sign. Is it by accident? Is it just the media? Or are the club trying to placate the fans? Because what happens is that when certain transfers don't work out, it gives us nothing to hope for. So we're kind of like left still hoping for something to happen. And when we're linked to some of these players that we know we're not going to get, and even if a bid is put in for Miller for 100 million, they know damn well that Bayern are not going to accept it. So why not just put it out there? It makes the fans feel good, makes the fans happy. You know, if it doesn't come off, then it doesn't look so bad on United, because it looks more as if like we want to spend, but we're just not able to because the club doesn't want to sell. That's a win-win for the club. So I'm just wondering sometimes when we're linked with Fabregas and we're linked with Cruz and we're linked with all these world-class players that perhaps we know we're not going to sign, is it a ploy? Because all of a sudden you're hearing the Gareth Bale rumors again. You know, you're hearing the Muller talk again, and every time he speaks in an interview now, we're going to be focused to see what he says. And none of these players have ever really come out and said, hey, I want to join Manchester United. You know, and that's the hurtful part. So, as Phil said, he takes everything with a pinch of salt. And in previous transfer windows under Fergie, I used to be more on the market wagon, so to speak. But I think now, definitely, you got to step back and be like, hey, I know we're linked with Otamendi. There's not a shred of concrete proof to say that we're trying to sign him. So where did the story come from?
I'm telling most My United fans, like, you know, when you go on the internet and you have your Daily Mail and the Sun link saved, you know, like, read it, but take it with a pinch of salt. Um, I don't think the Man United are linked with these players. I think the media are linking Man United with these players, because at the end of the day, what's the media's number one job? To sell stories. You already
It's
have
true.
you already have Man United. Anything Man United related will sell stories.
That's true.
Anything Man United related that you're going to link with a player, a high profile player. So you have a high profile player being linked with a high profile club. It's only obvious that audiences are going to be attracted to that sort of attention per se. So me, I honestly don't get excited about it. Even even though I am a diehard Manchester United fan, I mean, like the Daily Mail, 90 Minutes. I'm even starting to have my doubts about ESPN talking that. I just honestly just go on Twitter and just see what's happening, or I just go on Sky Sports, BBC, you know, just see what's happening. And if after 2 to 3 weeks nothing's happened, you kind of lose faith and hope, because it shouldn't take a transfer that long to happen unless there's a player playing in a major tournament per se. So like, let's say the World Cup or the Copa America or something like that. If a player's going to sign after this tournament, okay, cool. And if that tournament is about 2 weeks long, sure, you can wait it out. But it doesn't make any sense. But from my opinion, yeah, we can get excited about linking us with certain players, but it doesn't make any sense getting your hopes high and then all of a sudden this player signs a new contract or decides to sign with another club, something like that.
So
So
Well, this is
basically,
so,
just wait till somebody shows up at the club in club
exactly,
color, holding that T-shirt, and then you believe. That's it.
well,
exactly,
this is the
exactly.
thing, right? Because I know we're saying that we should only believe at that point, but there's nothing that any football fan, whether it be a Manchester United fan, whether it's an Aston Villa fan, whether it's a Wolfsburg fan, you hear that your club are linked with Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and there's a chance that it's being reported on Sky Sports and stuff that, you know, we're going to sign Zlatan and so on. you're gonna get excited. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, it's it's okay to say we shouldn't believe, but deep in our hearts we want to believe, and that's the problem because it's even if we don't get the player, the emotional roller coaster of thinking about, hey, what's Zlatan gonna look in the number 9 shirt? What would he look like if he's leading the line when he scores one of those fantastic goals at Old Trafford?
I think that's what the transfer window is all about. I think that's what the transfer window. Well, that's what the transfer window has become all
Mm,
about. Everybody getting a chance to dream of what possibly could be for the club. So everybody just gets caught up in it, and the media has done a good job of keeping it going. You keep the rumors going, you keep the fans going, you keep the transfer window going. It's exciting for everybody. But
that's true.
all, well, as Phil says, take it all with a big pinch of salt. Wait till you see a player show up in club colors, and then you believe. But most fans like to get caught up in the excitement in the transfer window. It gives them something to talk about with other supporters, maybe to poke fun at rivals, stuff like that.
Mm.
What I would like to see is that in cases where there is enough proof or enough truth to maybe a signing, that maybe club officials move with a little more haste to get deals done.
Well, this is the thing. We've always commented, and this is something that we've talked about for years now. United always seem to be slow and pedantic when it comes to wrapping up transfers. Every United transfer seems to take an age to do. If you look at Chelsea over the years, not even just this summer, like I can count going back 5 years. They're linked with the player, the offer goes in, they negotiate with the player in the club, he flies in, signs the contract, deal done. There's no messing around. There's none of this kind of like, let's wait and see, and we're not actually interested yet, and chasing other players for the same position. They don't do that, and I think that players see that, and they think they lose respect for the club in a sense. Because if you see a club go in, like let's use Pedro for an example. They weren't actively advertising that they were looking for a right winger or a right forward, but they decided they needed one. So what did they do? They contact the club, they do everything they're supposed to do, get the player in, done
I
deal.
have a different theory on that, buddy. I have a
Mm.
totally different theory on that, buddy.
But
I
we
think
instead we have just to finish my point though, we have this habit of identifying a target, and then we have a second place target, and then a third place target, and then we start to flirt with the different in the media. They draw links to those players, and then the third linked player, who's only going to come in the manager's eyes if he doesn't get number 1 and number 2, has to hang around and think and wait and says, well, I haven't heard from the club despite the links and whatever. I think it's very amateurish, and I don't like the way we operate sometimes, because it happened with Garay, it happened with, all this Otamendi talk and stuff, where Gaitan is another one where it's kind of like, we talk to these players, we're interested, but we're chasing someone bigger than
Remember Kevin Strootman?
Kevin
oh
Stroot.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, you see, and we don't go after just one target and say that's that. We seem to be linked with players, and then when one deal falls through, then suddenly we call them and say, hey, you want to come still? Players see these things, and it doesn't look professional, and it doesn't look good, in my opinion. But you said you had another theory on it.
Uh, I think the Pedro buy for Chelsea has panic written all over it. If you look at it, Jose Mourinho, he got himself into a pile of hot water with the medical staff. He drew the first game. He absolutely got ran over by Manchester City. And all of a sudden, he's not looking like the special one anymore. What he's looking like is the tortured one, because he's put himself in a bundle of trouble.
Well, we got to be careful
Eh,
when we're looking at other clubs, and we're looking from the outside in, and we see things sometimes from a opposition's perspective. It's only 2 games in the season. And yes, he drew the first one, and yes, they lost to Manchester City, which is no shame because they are a good team. Um, yes, he has dived back into the transfer market after he stated that he thinks his squad is good enough to challenge for the title. But I think it's premature to say that he's the tortured one. I think it's a shrewd move for him because he hardly made any moves during the summer, and he's decided, well, hey, I think there's some glaring gaps here. I need to fortify this team a little bit and bring in some new
Well, I
faces.
understand what you're saying. Well, I understand what you're saying. My question is, what about Juan Cuadrado? He basically and Pedro are almost the same player.
Yeah, I agree. I think perhaps Cuadrado's advantage is that he can do his defensive duties quite well as well. But the problem is he's fallen into the Mohamed Salah, the Victor Moses, the numerous other wingers that have gone to Chelsea. And if you're not capable of moments of class, then you'll find your position is under threat. And it's as simple as
So
that. This is what.
where does that, to me, where does that leave Pedro? Does Jose Mourinho wait and see what comes out, play one match, play one the other match?
Well,
That's going.
that's
That's why
that's,
I
that's
said
gonna,
this looks like a panic buy.
well, that's going to be for him to sort out and for him to figure out. I think we need to get back on track, which is United. We don't want to be
Second
talking
part,
about the
the
enemy too
second
much.
part of my theory is
Yeah.
basically you swoop in, you get him so that we don't. We become less of a threat because we don't have Pedro.
Yeah, I mean, it sends a message, an expensive message, but a message all the same. But I think that he's not quite content with Cuadrado either. So I think he saw an opportunity and he dived in and did what he had to do. But that's their business. We got to focus on our club. And I think, to be honest with you, I had made comments before this news came out about Chelsea that Pedro, although he'd be a good buy, with the performances that Adnan put in recently and the work ethic he's been showing, I wouldn't have a problem with Adnan and Mata alternating or operating in that zone or Adnan being that player. And I also want to see Pereira because if Pedro did come, Pereira would be further down the line, and that's not what we want because he'll leave, and we don't want that, right? So let's harness the
I
youngsters.
think we've let too many players go in the last couple seasons already. Some players I think that could have offered the club a little more. So I take your point there. Um, my main thing is let's get the deals we can get done, put to bed. You only got a couple weeks left in the window. Options are beginning to look slim. I don't want what happened under Moyes to happen again, where we are linked with so many players and then
Well,
we end up paying for something that initially didn't turn out to be so great. Not speaking bad of Fellaini because he came back last season, did a phenomenal job. It looks like he can do a phenomenal job this season. All I'm saying is get the jobs we can do, get them done early, put them out of the way, let the team come together, let the team gel, and let's get on with United's business of winning titles.
okay, just to wrap it up now on the transfer talk and the speculation. Um, we have the match also to talk about the Newcastle match coming up. Be interesting to hear your thoughts on the team and whether you're going to play the same team as the previous games or if you're going to make some changes. I'm going to go with my team first, and you guys can chip in and tell me what your lineup, your preferred starting lineup would be. And I'll go like this. For me, against Newcastle, it would be Romero in goal, Darmian, Smalling, Blind and Shaw. Don't want to change the back line that's doing well. Midfield. Now, this is where the change for me would be because I know we've been starting Carrick all the time, and I know Schweinsteiger has actually said he's not 100% fit still. But I would start in that match with Herrera and Schneiderlin. In front of those two, I would have Depay on the left, Mata in the hole, and Adnan on the right. But those can interchange. and then I would have Chicharito up front. Now, I know it's not going to happen. I know Rooney is destined to start every game once he's fit. But I would like to see something different, but I don't think Van Gaal will do it. What's your thoughts?
So
Um,
I want to talk, please.
Go ahead, Phil.
Thank you very much.
You just got to put your hand up like this, right? We're in a classroom, right? So you can just put your
Yeah.
hand up.
Um. Yeah, I'll go with the same back line, and yeah, I agree with the Snyderling and Herrera partnership. Carrick has been dropping a bit of form these last couple of games, so I'll start, you know, Snyder, not Snyder, oh my gosh, Snyderlin and Herrera, and yeah, keep the same front three, but um Rooney has a point to prove, and Rooney has a great goal scoring record against Newcastle. So I'll go with Rooney. So it's going to be a very tough game. Is it being played at Old Trafford or St James Park?
I got to check that
Old
actually.
Trafford. Old Trafford.
Is that Old
Oh,
Trafford? Oh, I'm 100%
Old Trafford.
confident now.
7:45 in the morning.
okay.
Oh, I'll be there. I'll be watching that one. Definitely.
Playing
I'm not
against
going to miss a
Old
minute.
Trafford?
I will be up. I'll be watching that one. As for my team, I'll be keeping the same back line. I'll make a few changes in midfield though. I'll keep Michael Carrick, but I will take out Snyderlin and I'll put Herrera in. I think those two together give us a better control in midfield. We all know Michael Carrick's abilities in midfield, but there's a reason why I put Herrera there because I am going to shake up the boat at the front just a little. I am not going to put Rooney at the front. Oh no. I am going to put Januzaj at the front as the striker, and I'm going to put Rooney in the hole with Depay out left and Mata out right.
Yeah, but Rooney has a great Rooney has a
I've
great
seen
good
the
going record
interchange
against.
between Herrera and Rooney a couple times, and I think it's great. If you add Memphis Depay to the mix, I think it's a complete slaughter come Saturday morning.
Well,
That sounds interesting.
Rooney has a
That
great
does
goal
sound
scoring
interesting.
record against Newcastle. So you should just if it's not broke, don't fix it. And obviously, over the last couple of seasons, Rooney has performed against Newcastle. I think this is a match Rooney must show that why he's captain and why he is a very great striker. Yeah,
But
putting
if you
him in the
remember,
hole.
if you remember, just sorry to interrupt, but remember, Rooney had a great record against Villa as well,
It's true.
and he had a terrible match. I know he's saying that he's going to come out of it, and he probably will. Rooney goes through these patches all the time. You remember there was a period where he went 3 to 4 months without scoring a goal,
Yep.
and when he did come out of it, he was in that purple patch, and he scored something like 12 in 15 games or something like that. That is what Rooney is like, and unfortunately, we're going to have to write it out this season and hope the goals come from other sources to keep us in the hunt until he finds himself. I
Put him
don't
in the
think.
number 10 spot. Put him in the number 10 spot. Let him be a provider and give Januzaj a run up front.
That's what it takes.
He does. He's played number 10 on more than one occasion. Shown against Club Brugge that he can take on the defense and absolutely turn them inside out.
Okay.
No,
Okay. Well,
that's Club Brugge. Now I want to see Memphis Depay do against the Liverpools and the Manchester Cities and the Chelseas and the
It'll come.
Arsenals.
It'll come.
Okay.
Nick has faith. Nick has faith. That's a good
I,
thing.
I do.
So
But
okay,
you know, we always talk about the starting lineup we want to see. But one thing nobody ever discusses is what about the bench? The bench
well,
plays a role.
oh, it does. I think if you're going to ask a question about the bench, maybe it's who should come off the bench during the game outside of injury. I think we know what the bench pretty much is because you know Sam Johnston's going to be there. You know Fellaini and Young will be there. You know Hernandez will be there. You know whoever's not in midfield in terms of Carrick, Schweinsteiger, Herrera, um, and Schneiderlin. You know those two because only two of those can play. So two of those will be there. That's pretty much the bench. It's just really the defender. That's the quandary. Is it McNair? Is it Jones? Is it, dare
I
I
say
say
Phil
his name? Dare I say his name, Johnny?
I say Phil Jones.
Valencia seems to always make the bench as well because he offers, pace, power. He can operate to whatever Van Gaal asks him to do as well. So Van Gaal likes him a lot. So the bench
Yeah.
picks itself for me. It's just a matter of who comes off the bench. And I think the substitutions that he's made recently have been very good. I know a criticism I had of him last season is that he sometimes would make the wrong decision off the bench. But I thought so far this season he's got it pretty much on point. The only issue I really have with Van Gaal is Herrera. I think he's being treated really badly, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be able to go on for. But we'll see what happens during the season.
Yeah,
So,
I
any
agree.
any final thoughts from you guys so we can wrap this up?
Um,
Yep.
I predict a 3-0 run out. Basically, I call in scoreline early o'clock. 3-0.
That's good. It's nice and positive. What about you, Phil?
Um, I won't get to the prediction yet. I would say based on how we are doing in the game, I'd say if we're struggling for goals, I can see Fellaini making a switch onto the field for probably Carrick, and he'll play further up. If we're very comfortable, he'll probably bring on Schweinsteiger, just to shut things down. Or if we really need a goal, I wouldn't mind taking off, Luke Shaw and putting Darmian at left back, and then putting Valencia at right back. Valencia does provide pace, and he's kind of predictable on the trickery, but who cares? Um, it still matters that we win this game. In terms of prediction, I I'll probably go for a 2 love.
Okay,
Two-
okay.
two-
I don't wanna copy you, but what I will say, I've noticed one other thing that's quite important, and this is an improvement from last season. Last season, whenever I looked at the bench, I saw a group of players that could make no difference to the outcome. Every time we made subs last season, none of them were able to make a difference. They were just kind of like, oh, I'll bring you on because you've got fresh legs, but they just didn't offer anything. Adnan had a poor season, as we know. Van Persie, whoever else was on the Falcao was on the bench as well. Uh, Fellaini was starting, so he wasn't on the bench. And then we had some weak players in the other positions. And for me, it just didn't offer anything different. If we're behind in a game and we brought on those players last season, nothing came of it. But this season, for me, we've got real quality on that bench now. Because to bring on Herrera, to bring on Schweinsteiger, who can just see out the game and lock it down. We've got Fellaini as our plan B now, so he comes in fresh and he can offer something different at the top. We've got Januzaj, who seems renewed. He can offer a lot of pace and trickery on the other flank. Maybe when that what? Sorry, Nick.
and we have our Mexican back.
Exactly. And now we got Chicharito, who also makes a difference off the bench. So now we're looking at a team that strengthens off of the bench now, and we can actually play 90 minutes, high level, high intensity, and bring these kind of players in. And I'm really happy about that because I felt that a lot of the players at the club really didn't deserve to be there, and I'm glad that we shipped 90% of them out. So my prediction, though, for the Newcastle game, I don't want to copy you. I was going to say 2-0, so you got there before me. But but I'm going to go 2-1. I think they're going to sneak a goal, and we're going to wake up and score two quick ones, and that'll be the end of that. But I think we're going to win. 3 points definitely, and onwards and upwards.
All right.
So anybody has any final points before we go and wrap this up?
I just
One
like
moment.
to
Okay.
reiterate Get the early transfer deals done, guys. You only got 2 weeks left. Get quality, but do it quick. And that's it.
Well, that's the problem because now we're so late in the transfer window that the kind of players we're interested in, the world class type of player, they're already settled for the new season and they're in their mind in a zone when it comes to their clubs. It's very difficult to move those type of players unless they're unhappy at this point in the season. That's why, moving Di Maria was okay because he was unhappy. Um, we don't tend to sign a lot of world class players on the last day of the transfer window like that. You don't see a lot of world class players moving. You'll see good players moving, but not really world class because they like to get in early and get settled and so on. So maybe someone will be unhappy. Maybe Zlatan will throw his toys out the pram and we'll come to his rescue. But he's 34 now. Is he going to do it for us? Does he represent good value? Maybe not. But hey, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
My final thoughts are, the momentum and confidence is high from the win over Club Brugge. Newcastle has seen what Memphis can do. They already know what Rooney can do, so they're going to come prepared for this game. I can see us getting the 3 points. Um, Nick predicted 3-love. I predicted 2-love. Darius predicted 2-1. Who knows? But like I said, momentum is high, confidence is high, so the players the players are going to come good on Saturday. Yeah, so I guess those are my final thoughts.
Totally, totally. Well, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much. We look forward to doing plenty more of these. I guess we'll discuss the other pertinent points regarding the actual setup of everything. But it's been a pleasure and look forward to
Yep.
doing it again.
Same
Yeah.
here, guys.
So when next do you guys want to do this again? Tomorrow night or no, not
Post
tomorrow
match.
night. Post
It
match?
has to be after. It has to be after the match for sure.
Okay,
Um,
it'll be after the match then. Okay, but we'll start to get more serious about it. I guess around September 1st, because these are just tests. I will
yeah,
Yeah.
see how I will replay them and see how we discuss where we can improve on our discussions and where we can like cut back on saying certain things and we definitely need a host. Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that there was times we kind of went off topic a bit too much.
Hmm.
I think we got to cut down the length of time we talk as well.
Yeah.
If we have a point to make, let's make it within like 2 minutes
Yeah, 2 minutes is good.
and move on to the next person because we don't want to elaborate too long and get too long-winded because anybody watching it is going to kind of get bored and they're going to be
Exactly.
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm tuning out of this. So we got to keep it that way, keep it short and concise, make it fun as well because you need to have that kind of energy in the chat. It has to be energetic. It has to be a little bit so that people viewing it can feed off of that and kind of like get into it. We don't want to be too dead about it. And there's also, I think there's options to have discussions, live discussions, and then we'll have people in the chat room speaking as well. And we'll be able to feed back off of what they're saying while we're having our live discussion. So that's something we can look into maybe by the next time we do one, and we'll give it a try and see what happens.
Yeah, sure, no
Cool.
problem. So
All right. So,
basically, let's keep this up because I'm definitely excited about discussing football with you guys and then sharing it with the Barbados, Manchester United, both groups. I definitely want to share these videos and get their input on it as well. So and like I think one you guys said earlier, bringing a special guest speaker. So yeah, looking forward to that
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
That was me. That was me.
Oh yeah,
And
okay.
yeah, Phil slightly OT loop. Here there's a guy, random football fan, comes on Slam 101 in the morning and gives all the updates on the local football scene. I know who he is.
he's a Manchester
Um,
United fan.
he's a neutral.
Oh my God. Okay.
He is a neutral. He is a neutral. That is what I will say. He is not big into club football. He more supports country than club, but he pays attention to all football, and he's able to lend some contrasting views.
Okay.
So, while he is not a Manchester United fan, he is not a Liverpool fan, and he is not a Chelsea fan, and he's definitely not a Manchester City fan.
But what I would say with regard to him, I think he would be part of a different type of program because
Hmm.
what we can do is then look to expand into maybe pre-match um, hangouts, and we could perhaps talk to other fans of other teams. We can have a discussion also on football in the Premiership as a whole, not only Manchester United. So we could do a group where there's perhaps a United fan, an Arsenal fan, a Liverpool fan, and a Chelsea fan, or something like that. Um,
No, no Liverpool fans, please. Thanks.
Come on, it'd be interesting discussion.
It
About
would
the
be an interesting argument.
about the pre-match though. If we have a match at 7:45, I can't promise I can be up at 7 o'clock just to discuss football.
No, no, it doesn't
We
have
do
to
it the night before.
the night before
We do it the
exactly.
night before.
Okay, no
All it
problem.
would be is if we know perhaps a Newcastle fan, and the beauty of Hangouts, he doesn't even have to be in Barbados.
It's true.
Exactly.
So
Well, that
we
means
can we can really look to capture some new listeners as well, because if we have a friend that's an Arsenal fan and he's in England, we can get him hooked up. And if there's somebody else that's a fan of Real Madrid and they're somewhere else in the world, they can join in as well. So it's a global thing. It doesn't have to be just about Barbados.
one thing I would suggest as well. I realize that we have a lot of, let's say, Bajan celebrities in the Manchester United group, like Carlos Brathwaite and Jason Bennett, and I think Salt is a United fan as well. So
Good.
yeah, so
Well,
it's possible we could, invite them on and introduce them as, I don't know, West Indies cricket player Carlos Brathwaite, um, West Indies from Barbados cricket player Jason Bennett, Slam
fantastic.
101 DJ, Salt, and TC is also in that group as well. I did not realize that.
Ah, you see, well, this is great news, and this is something
So
that
yeah.
once we fine tune the Hangout itself, and we're fully, you know, got to grips with it, and we know how we're going to edit it, and we know how we're structuring it, and we're kind of more seasoned, then we can bring them on. I don't want to bring them on at this stage where we're
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
still feeling it out.
Yeah, where we're still feeling things out.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, definitely that's a brilliant idea, and that's something that we will look to do.
This black and
Um,
white background got me offset though. I really want to change this.
why are you in black and white, Phil?
That's the thing. I'm looking to try to change it on the Google thing. Like if I do that. I'm just
If,
trying.
if
Like
you
how is your screen set up? Like I want to do Google effects. I trying something else. Like
Yeah, because when I have my window up, it has a little wand and it says enhanced focus. I can pick between original and then black and white, smooth, warm, spotlight. So see if you have black and white selected there.
this is where on the left hand side or the right hand side?
On the right hand side, under live.
Under light. Under live.
Under live, yeah, on the top right hand side. If you make yourself big by clicking your window,
Yeah.
and then you see live, and then under that you should see like a little wand and the word original or black and white, B slash
Okay.
W.
Oh yeah, I see
You're
that.
not
Yeah.
seeing it?
Okay. So okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
feeling,
there you go, buddy.
feeling living color. Look.
Oh, you're live and in living color, buddy.
I don't like bright though. I want something like they got more options. Like the whole Instagram got it.
We were gonna do that post processing. We were gonna do that editing.
Yeah, I see options, but when I click them, nothing. I don't see anything happening. Do you guys see it getting brighter? Like, I'm gonna click brighter now. Hold on. Any brighter?
Who put a scuba mask on me?
I didn't do that. I don't know how to do that. That looks
Me,
like
me,
Nicholas.
The child boy.
no, that's not me, because I am actually just using a phone. Actually,
Phil,
don't knock me powered in. Actually, my Note 4 actually has a few features, so there you go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Not bad, not bad at all. Are you seeing the changes on your screen as well?
Yeah, I'm seeing the changes on next one, yeah, but I am just here. All right, what I'll do is stop the broadcast and see what happens from there. So just give me a